Project Azorian, the CIA's secret mission to steal a Soviet submarine. Hello my friends, welcome to Secret Agents Exposed. Today, we dive into a story so wild, so shocking, so interesting you won't believe it's true. Let's start in the dead of the Cold War. One of the Soviet Union's most advanced nuclear submarines vanished in the Pacific Ocean. It sank to the ocean floor more than 3 miles deep with nuclear missiles, encrypted codes, and secrets the Soviets thought were lost forever. But they were wrong, because the CIA had a plan, a billion-dollar covert operation, a ship built under a fake company, and the most daring underwater recovery mission in history. This is the unbelievable true story of Project Azorian, the CIA's top-secret mission to raise a sunken Soviet submarine from the bottom of the ocean, without anyone finding out. The submarine that disappeared. It all began on March 8, 1968. Its purpose, to hide beneath the ocean and launch missiles if the Soviet homeland was attacked. The Soviet Golf II-class ballistic missile submarine K-129 departed from the Kamchatka Peninsula, heading into the Pacific for a patrol mission, armed with 3 nuclear missiles. The K-129 was part of the USSR's second strike capability, but on March 11th, it stopped responding to Soviet command. The sub never returned. They presumed it sank, possibly due to an internal explosion or catastrophic failure. Despite a massive search, the Soviets couldn't find it. What the Soviets didn't know, American listening stations in the Pacific picked up the explosion. Using SOSUS, the U.S. Navy's underwater sonar system, analysts triangulated the exact point where the submarine went down, about 1,560 miles northwest of Hawaii, nearly 16,500 feet deep. It was unreachable, or so everyone thought. A crazy idea when the CIA learned the U.S. Navy had located a Soviet ballistic missile submarine on the ocean floor. An idea was born. What if they could recover the submarine? It would be a treasure trove of intelligence, Soviet nuclear warheads, cryptographic equipment, missile guidance systems, communication logs, and strategy documents. But there was one major problem. The sub was at a depth of over 16,000 feet, well beyond the reach of any standard salvage operation. This wasn't just deep-sea diving. It would require entirely new technology, a ship that had never been built, and a cover story so good that even the Soviets wouldn't suspect a thing. And so began Project Azorian, one of the most ambitious covert operations in CIA history. Building the Glomar Explorer to raise the sub, the CIA needed a vessel capable of deep ocean recovery, but it couldn't look like a military operation. The solution, that would be the public story. Build a completely new ship under the disguise of a commercial venture. Enter Howard Hughes, the eccentric billionaire industrialist. The CIA approached him with a proposal. Build a ship to mine rare minerals from the ocean floor. In reality, this was a front. Thus, the Hughes Glomar Explorer was born. A 619-foot-long ship with a massive internal capture bay and a claw mechanism, known as the capture vehicle. Key features: a giant moon pool inside the hull, allowing underwater recovery while staying hidden from view, a mechanical arm capable of grabbing the submarine section, state-of-the-art dynamic positioning to stay fixed over a point in the ocean. Without anchoring, the Hughes cover story was perfect. The media believed it. The Soviets had no idea. By 1974, the Glomar Explorer was ready. The mission begins. The claw had to grip the submarine section without crushing it. In June 1974, under complete secrecy, the Glomar Explorer set sail from Long Beach, California, heading toward the coordinates where the K-129 lay silently on the seafloor. The goal: recover a 60-foot section of the submarine, including its missile compartment and code room. Using sonar and remote-operated vehicles, the crew located the sub-wreckage. Then, the capture vehicle, nicknamed Clementine, was slowly lowered into the ocean through the moon pool, descending more than 3 miles straight down. The operation required weeks of careful maneuvering. After multiple attempts, the claw locked on to part of the sub. Slowly, inch by inch, it began lifting the massive wreck toward the surface. But then a disaster struck. The accident. As the submarine section was being raised, mechanical failure hit the claw. A large portion of the submarine broke apart mid-lift and fell back to the ocean floor. Unrecoverable. Only a small section, roughly 38 feet long, made it aboard the ship. CIA officials were devastated. They had spent over $800 million over $4 billion in today's dollars for what appeared to be a partial failure. But what they did recover was still of immense intelligence value. According to later reports, the CIA retrieved, complete with a filmed ceremony, which remained classified for decades, to nuclear-tipped torpedoes, Soviet naval codebooks, parts of the sub's cryptographic hardware, the bodies of 6 Soviet sailors. The operation was deemed highly sensitive, and the sailors were given a military burial at sea. Glomar response: despite all efforts at secrecy, word of the operation began to leak. In 1975, journalist Jack Anderson got wind of the story and published hints of a CIA mission to recover a sunken Soviet sub. Reporters asked the CIA to confirm, but instead of denying or confirming, the CIA issued what is now known as the famous Glomar response: "We can neither confirm nor deny the existence of such a project." That phrase has since become a standard response, used by the US government in national security cases. It was the perfect answer: no confirmation, no denial, just silence cloaked in legal ambiguity. Soviet reaction: when the Soviet Union eventually learned about the operation, through leaks and investigations, they were outraged. They called it a grave violation of international law and accused the US of grave disrespect toward the dead sailors. However, by then, the Cold War had moved on. The Soviets never officially retaliated or filed a formal complaint, likely because they had no idea what the US actually recovered. In the intelligence game, silence is sometimes the best defense, and the CIA wasn't talking intelligence value. To this day, the full contents of the recovered section remain classified, but experts believe the information obtained from K-129 helped the US understand Soviet launch procedures and protocols, communication encryption systems, the design of nuclear weapons, and delivery systems. It also proved the CIA could carry out highly complex engineering missions in total secrecy, setting a precedent for future deep ocean and cyber intelligence projects. Project Azorian remains one of the most ambitious covert ops ever attempted, and one of the few to blend engineering, espionage, and psychological operations on such a massive scale. Legacy of Project Azorian: though the mission didn't fully succeed, its impact was undeniable. It showed that the CIA could mobilize private industry for covert goals. Technology could expand the reach of espionage to every layer of the Earth, even the deep sea. The U.S. was willing to spend billions to gain an inch in the Cold War chessboard. In 2010, the CIA declassified some internal records of the project, acknowledging its existence, but keeping most technical details secret. The full operation remains partly in shadow. To this day, the Glomar Explorer is remembered as one of the most sophisticated spy ships ever constructed, a lost submarine, a billion-dollar secret, and a mission so bold, it sounds like a movie. But every word is true. Project Azorian wasn't just about a sunken Soviet sub. It was about proving that no place on Earth, not even the bottom of the ocean, was beyond the reach of U.S. intelligence. And in the end, even in failure, the CIA succeeded. Call to action: if you found this mission as mind-blowing as we did, hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable real-world spy stories and classified operations. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a mission briefing. Question of the day: do you think Project Azorian was worth the cost? Or was it a Cold War stunt? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay informed, and remember, truth is often stranger than fiction. See you in the next video with unique story.